Call to the booth. It's our Friday show, our money show. We just survived our Survivor last week. We got some best bets for you this week, though. Drop that beat, Paul.
What's good, Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib, Paul Aspen, our producer, joining us as he does on every Friday. Last week, if you listened to Aqib's suggestions when it came to running backs and quarterbacks in great positions, and you played those guys in DFS, you would have made so much money. Hope you did. If you didn't, you have an opportunity to make it again this time around. Friday show, Survivor pick, DFS picks, best bets. We get straight into it, and first we start with Survivor. We just got by last week. Aqib, I know you weren't in the booth this Sunday, so give me your perspective as you're watching the Patriots almost give away this game and maybe cost us some money on the back end.
Well, I was on the edge of my seat, excited watching them score them last 4 possessions in a row, man, because they was the second pick of one of my teasers that I picked up on. You know what I'm saying? So I had the Patriots on there, had the Cowboys on there. Can't even remember who else I had on there.
Bucks.
But Bucks, definitely. That was a great teaser. I picked up on that. But I definitely put that on my main screen, and I watched the last 4 possessions, man. And Mac Jones did his thing, man. Worked the pocket, worked his way downfield, got points. 4 straight drives, baby.
Yeah, I was going through it. I was going through when Damian Harris dropped that ball there in that first half through the end
Scary.
zone. Paul, can you? Yeah, it was scary for a while. Paul, can you give our listeners, viewers, a recap of the teams that we have gone through throughout 5 weeks of the season in our Survivor pool?
So we start off with the Rams, which we'll talk about in a second. Kind of would be nice to have them this week. Against the Bears, Browns beat the Texans, Broncos beat the Jets, the Bills beat the Texans. We dodged the Titans
teams
that week. Yeah. And the Patriots beat the Texans, just got by. It was even the Ravens on Monday night barely got by. They were another popular Survivor pick. And the Vikings barely got by the Lions. So it was a sweat for everyone in Survivor this week.
So Paul's the one who puts in the official bet for us, and just so everybody has an understanding, Paul, do you know how much money is on the line right now? Like what could we potentially take home? Where do we stand in this overall Survivor pool at this moment?
Well, it's a $6 million first prize, so.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's what's on the line. We didn't pay $6 million to get in, but there's $6 million on the line.
Do you know how many people are left in the field now?
Yeah, so there's about 2,100 left, and I think 1,300 had the Vikings. So almost a lot of people got knocked out. So one of those crazy weeks is coming. It could be this week. There's a lot of tough games this week, so we just gotta stay alive.
All right, gotta stay alive for week 6. Let's go ahead, and I'm gonna run through our options and keep them. Then you're gonna give us our first pick. The Chiefs at the Washington football team. Surprisingly, we haven't picked the Chiefs yet. That Washington football team defense hasn't been good. Would love to use the Rams at the Giants, but we can't because we used them in week 1. Bengals at the winless Detroit Lions with Joe Mixon not 100% healthy. Samaje Perine on the COVID list. Packers at the Bears, divisional matchup. Cardinals at the Browns. Scary opportunity there. Dallas Cowboys at the New England Patriots. Tough one there as well. And then the Steelers hosting the Seattle Seahawks. No Russell Wilson, but Geno Smith did look good. With that being said, Aqib, who you rolling with for week 6?
Oh, you didn't even mention the Colts against the Texans. Colts at home against the Texans.
Colts at home versus the Texans.
Colts, yeah.
This
Colts
is a tough week. This is a tough week, but I'm leaning towards the Colts at home versus the Texans. Cardinals and the Browns, I don't know. Cowboys, Patriots. If the Cowboys is in any kind of trap game, this is one of them. The Chiefs at Washington. I like the Chiefs too. I kind of ride with the Chiefs too. I like them to go win in Washington.
Yeah, so from my perspective, Davis Mills did look kind of good against the Patriots for a while there. And Colts played Monday Night Football. So
short week.
Texans had my heart bumping last week. I don't know if I go through it again.
Rams.
At some point,
at
the tech. No, but we'll use the Rams if we can't use them.
Oh yeah, I saw them. Oh yeah. That's what you said. Would be nice if we could. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, would be nice. The Tex now. So I'm like not happy about going against the Texans, but Colts not a bad pick. I do like picking the Chiefs just because they can't lose again, right? Like They have to win this game. Paul, what are you thinking?
I hate this spot for the Colts. I absolutely hate it. I think short week, like you talked about. I don't think they're that good. I think they could absolutely lose this game. I actually already bet the Texans. Divisional opponent. I actually already bet the Texans plus 10. Now we don't have to cover the 10 to survive. But I think the Texans could have a real chance to win this game. So I would lean towards the Chiefs. I thought about coming in here making a case for the Steelers. Now that would be real sweaty on Sunday night against Geno Smith and the Seahawks. But I think the Chiefs, the more that I think about it, I kind of looked past that matchup. I think my vote would be for the Chiefs.
What you thinking?
I like it, Paul. I'm riding with the Chiefs. I say the Chiefs is most likely the team who will go in and get a dub.
Any thoughts on the Steelers?
Tough week, man. Steelers, no Juju.
Yeah.
But I feel like they kind of found their swag back a little bit.
So I think this is the game where everyone's like, oh, man, maybe the Steelers don't actually suck. Because they win on prime time in front of everyone, and I can't wait to bet against them the next week. It's not a comfortable spot for Survivor, but I do like the spot for them.
Geno came in, played decent, but, Geno my guy. Geno is Geno, man. He going to be Geno. And the Steelers defense, flew around and swarmed to the football. So I'm kind of on the Steelers or the Chiefs right now. We narrowing it down. We getting there.
Yeah. Okay, so we've narrowed it down: Steelers or the Chiefs. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Steelers are hosting the Seahawks.
Right.
So maybe we get to the point where we look at schedules.
Oh, the Steelers. I don't think there's another spot where you would use the Steelers. The Chiefs, you could, but I don't think there's that many. Let me bring it up real quick.
Seahawks first game with no man. I don't. It's hard.
What about Chris? Okay. What about Chris Carson? Is Chris Carson on? Is he still? Is it that neck? Yeah, I know he had the neck injury. He was out the last game. But if Chris Carson is there now, it's not on Geno Smith.
They back up almost better than Chris Carson to me.
Alex Collins.
Collins. He running the ball in this system better. I don't see Carson in his one cut zone scheme type of system. It don't really look right to me for him. But Alex Collins, he toting in his zone scheme, so it might be a good thing if Carson come back.
I'll also say this though too. This injury happened for the Seahawks on Thursday night. So it's not like it was a Sunday injury. They had a couple more days. Geno has a lot more time to process the fact that he is the starter. And if there's any optimism for the team going forward, it would be now before they lose games or lose more games without Russell Wilson, as opposed to 2-3 games into the tenure of him being gone.
Wait, we tripping. We really tripping. We making this too hard. Geno not going into Pittsburgh and getting a win, bro. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, man. We got to ride. We got to ride with the Steelers here, man. Geno not going on the road. Terrible towels. He not going to get that win, man. He Geno. That's my guy, but he Geno. He not going to get that win. That's a tough place to play, and they defense always rise to the occasion when they at home and they fly around and they play like that. So I see 3 turnovers for the Steelers defense, man. They going to win the game.
I love it. I love it. Let's go.
Let's go. I
can't wait till it's 10-0 Seahawks in the first quarter and we need Ben to somehow score 3 touchdowns.
He came that answer had so much conviction in it. We have to go with the Steelers.
Yeah, let's ride with the Steelers, man.
Yeah, let's ride with the Steelers, and we could and at the very least, if that pans out, we can still save the Chiefs for another week, which we're going to need at some point for sure. So we're riding with the Steelers, hosting the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. Seahawks without Russell Wilson. Steelers also without Juju Smith-Schuster for the remainder of the season. All right, let's get into our DFS and fantasy football stars for Week 6. But before we do that, we got to look back at Week 5. Almost each and every one of Aqib's picks hit. Derrick Henry, 3 touchdowns. Damian Harris got a touchdown as well, even though he had a fumble. Brady, how many touchdown passes is he going to have? Joe Burrow, strong performance in Cincinnati. D-Hop got back on the touchdown board in a low-scoring game against the 49ers, and Emmanuel Sanders did his thing once again for the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chargers. The only real miss, and it really wasn't really that much of a miss, is Hunter Henry got the touchdown against the Texans instead of Jonnu Smith. So, what you going to do there? Let's go ahead to week 6, and hopefully these picks cash out just like last week did, because if they did, you can make some good bread. All right, running backs in great matchup. Jonathan Taylor versus the Texans. We just saw what Damian Harris did. And Antonio Gibson versus the Chiefs. He could run, he could catch. Chiefs getting up a lot of points. Let's focus on them for a little bit. Antonio Gibson, Aqib, he's been disappointing from a fantasy football perspective for majority of the season for people, but you like this matchup for him against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I do. Chiefs ain't stopped too much of nobody, right? Running or passing, man. So if you're going to get back to yourself, man, it's going to be against a defense like this. So everybody else running the ball against the Chiefs, I don't see why Gibson wouldn't.
Taylor Heineke, the quarterback in that matchup, who's been a passing and running threat after a tough matchup against the New Orleans Saints. Nice get-back spot for him as well against the Kansas City Chiefs. And Aaron Rodgers, we know what he does. Him and Devontae Adams went absolutely crazy in Cincinnati this past week. A non-star wide receiver in a great matchup. Tim Patrick versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Casey Hayward stays with Courtland Sutton. It could be Tim Patrick. Might not matter. Tim Patrick's getting a lot of targets, especially with KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy out of the lineup there for the Denver Broncos. And let's go back to that Kansas City-Washington football matchup. A star in a great position, Tyreek Hill. Now, Keith, beginning of the season, I would not have said this is a good matchup for Tyreek Hill.
Right.
The Washington football team signed Will Jackson. You have a great pass rush over there for the Washington football team. But that secondary has not been good at all. That defense has not been good at all. What's going on? Why isn't the Washington football team defense a lot better than what it's performing? How it's performing?
Hey, it's hard. It's the National Football League, Harrison. So sometimes that success breeds, a dominant group, or sometimes that 1 year success breeds guys thinking they better than they are, and you have a season like this after that. So it's just not hitting on all cylinders, man. It's not coming together. The pass rush not matching with the coverage not matching with the rush. Hey, they struggling right now.
Yeah, struggling indeed. Speaking of somebody who isn't struggling, Travis Kelce got back on the board last week after a rough week 4. He's in a great matchup as a tight end against the Washington football team. That's basically put a lot of your money into that matchup. Looks like a lot of points are going to be scored. Then Mo Alley Cox, a non-star tight end in a great matchup against the Houston Texans. Week after week after week after week, a tight end scores against the Houston Texans. And Mo Alley Cox getting a lot of targets there for the Indianapolis Colts, more than Jack Doyle is getting for sure. That wraps up our stars for week 6. And then before we get out of here, like we do every week, we got our best bets. Paul, can you rejoin us, please? And can you remind us of what happened last week, and then we'll look ahead to what's happening now in week 6.
So Keeb and I were both on the teasers. Keeb hit his, and I also hit mine.
Yes, sir.
Got a little gross at the end needed a miracle in Minnesota to beat the Lions, but we got there. And then Harrison took the under in a game where there was about 100 points. So, no big deal. Just get next time on that one.
I'll allow me to explain myself. We saw that Cowboys versus Chargers game where it was a low-scoring game. We also saw where it was the Browns versus the Vikings. Vikings, aren't a great team, but they have an explosive offense. And that was a 14-7 game. So and the Chargers defense has improved. So in my mind, there's no way it's going over 50. I was wrong. So it bees like that sometimes. My week 6 pick, and then Aqib will get yours. I am taking the Cardinals. They're getting 2.5 in Cleveland. I know Cleveland can rush the ball. I know their defense has improved. They have a great pass rush. I just don't see how they can keep up the scoring if Kyler Murray gets it going. We don't, as we alluded to in our Wednesday show, that's not how the Browns offense operates. They don't pass the ball around like that. They're not capable of, it doesn't seem. So I don't know how they keep pace if Kyler Murray does 1 or 2 Kyler Murray things and all of a sudden it's a 14-3 game. Just don't see it. Taking the Cardinals plus 2.5.
So let me jump in real quick before Keeb gets to his pick. Do yourself a favor. Take the 3. There are 3s out there. Get yourself a plus 3. Get yourself plus 3. Stay within, get yourself the field goal, because when it lands on 3 and you lose at 2.5 is a bad number. So just make yourself sure you get yourself the plus 3. Also,
I'll talk to my guys in Vegas.
Yeah.
Make them push it to 3, and then
you can shop around. You can shop around.
Hey, you better buy that half a point. Look, it might lower your winnings, but you had that half a point. Here we go, my teaser. Now I know we could do teasers. All my best bets is probably gonna be teasers. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals. So 6-point teaser. The Green Bay Packers turn to plus 1.5. The Arizona Cardinals turn to plus 8.5. I love that teaser, 2-pick teaser. Put you some money down, pick your money up.
There we go. And then Paul, what you got to take us home?
So I mentioned the Texans plus 10 against the Colts. So I'll stick with that. I'll get gross this week. Texans plus 10 against the Colts. And you know what? Little sprinkle on the money line, plus 330 on the Texans to beat the Colts and blow up a bunch of survivor pools.
Oh.
But best bet plus 10. But one thing I will mention, could make it a show bet. Aqib said in one of our other shows, Jags are going to win. The Lions are going to win.
Jags and the Lions.
Texans could win.
Hey, bet over the line or whatever that BOL bet be. You know what I'm saying? That might be one of them right there. Them all really can happen.
Paul, you did bring up a good point there. A lot of people might be on that Colts-Texans game when it comes to Survivor. Obviously, betting it too because you probably see a lot of trends when a team plays on prime time. A lot of people like to reinvest in that team because everybody got to see it. So here's to hoping the Texans take out the Colts and we decrease that Survivor field. Good week of shows. That's Aqib Talib. I'm Harrison Sanford. Shout out to Paul. Shout out to Thomas in the background. We'll see you next week. This is Called to the Booth.